I do fantasy football.
It's my quarterback. If you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
How's your fantasy team looking this year?
I won $1 million.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Hey, this is Rory Scovel, and you're listening to My Fantasy Wife on your speakers or your headphones.
My Fantasy Wife Podcast.
Style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
Blaire.
I watched 40 minutes of Space Jam this weekend. It's 40 minutes of my life. I'm not going to get back.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Gary.
They had already announced he was leaving.
Well,
he just didn't want to wait out the 30. You know how when you quit a job, you got to give him 30 days or whatever. He's
2 weeks. You've never had a real job, have you?
No.
He is the man in the fantasy world.
Drew.
You're not a Peyton Manning fan,
I'm not a Manning fan.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Lewis.
You love Burger King.
Yeah, I like Burger King.
Yeah.
Not the game. We're talking about practice, man.
You're listening to My Fantasy Wife Podcast. www.myfantasywife.com.
Welcome, listeners, to My Fantasy Wife, the weekly sports meets comedy meets marriage podcast, where a husband and wife discuss sports, fantasy leagues, and their impact on pop culture and relationships, including their own. I am the wife comedian Blaire Postman. Yay! My husband and sports stat expert is also here. His name is Gary Hames. Also filling in for the on-assignment Drew Harrison is our ombudsman and local TV personality and comedian, Mr. Wills Maxwell.
How goes it?
And we are also rounding things out with comedian, sound engineer, and man about town, Mr. Louis Bishop.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine.
Great.
To never miss our weekly episodes and extras, subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Find us on Facebook or Instagram at My Fantasy Wife Podcast, Twitter at My Fant Wife, and support the podcast by liking and rating us in iTunes. Miss any of that, then just go to our website, myfantasywife.com, with links to everything. Gary.
Yes, ma'am.
We don't have a traditional sponsor this week. We said we were going to just talk about someone that we like.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be anyone you know, but it has to be real and it has to be nice.
Well, it says what it says.
No, you can. No, that's just a topic thing.
I don't know. It says this week's sponsor is...
It's not the walrus.
It's not new mascot Frothy Walrus?
No, we're going to talk about that later.
All right. Okay. I don't know.
It does say walrus.
Guys, I just got into town from Asheville 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I need us to start over.
We're not starting over.
It's terrible.
Bum.
That's the world's worst opening.
No, it's fine.
We had the whole happy trumpet. The whole happy trumpet played.
whole happy trumpet.
In entirety. Yeah.
I just got here.
Right.
Just roll with it. One time. Just
I've been
yes,
here for hours.
Yes, and it a little bit more.
But I was creating things in
Are
my
we
head
actually
to do with the walrus.
Are we actually doing this? Are we actually doing it over?
No, we're not doing it over.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
I'm doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Oh my God. Oh yes, the cuckoo could chew. All right, do you want? Don't do it to that. No, he's just a walrus. Well, that's what we were going to talk about later. Is that people can go to our Facebook page and see the outcome.
The rendition of the Frothy
Yes,
Walrus. Yes,
it's not the Frothy Walrus.
Yes,
it's the Wacky Walrus mascot cartoon, and you can go and see it on our Facebook page. Drew did do a hand-drawn version, but then a former Hot Topics and social media maven, Maddie Springer, actually made like a graphic designed version
of the Frothy Walrus.
Of the Wacky Walrus.
Hey, when a walrus gets donkey punched in the back of the head, there's some froth.
Oh, you know what? No, too soon.
Oh my gosh.
Too soon in the episode.
There's
froth. No context. Not everyone heard episode 129.
What?
Okay.
You're telling me not everyone heard the last episode?
But if you haven't, by all means go listen to it, and then you can listen along and see how the cartoon version of Wacky the Walrus comes out. That's enough out of you.
Pretty sure there's
Okay,
at least
guys.
one Mongolian fellow up in the mountains that did not hear last week's episode.
Or somebody
so
in
you're probably right.
somebody in Tibet or
Right.
something.
Not
All
a
right,
lot of
guys.
radios. The last time I was in Tibet, very few radios.
Okay.
Did you go to Tibet? Tibet?
Yeah.
He was in Tibet.
What? Hold on.
Wait, this is completely.
I'm sorry. I just want to hear. I just want to hear
ran
the
off the
story
rails.
real quick.
130 episodes.
I just want to hear the.
I know.
Yes, I
We've
spent,
never heard that he was in Tibet.
Oh yeah,
you.
Gary's been like nowhere out of the country except China, Thailand, and Tibet.
So everywhere out of the country.
Well, I've never been to like England. you know,
Okay.
but
Or
Are you
Europe.
sure you've never been to England? There's not
Yes.
going to be a story that you.
no.
So why did you go to
We're
those
gonna
places?
get like a story on episode 230 that he used to be one of the guards outside of Buckingham Palace.
Oh yeah.
right,
Oh,
right.
that's true. He has a really big head, and they had to order that big fuzzy hat special, the one that looks like Marge Simpson's hair.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to China, but I couldn't afford it. So my father, who is a magician, cast a spell and sent me there that way.
No, really. But really, your father was a
Like the
magician.
No,
Yes,
but-
but not that kind of magician.
Right, but
Not the kind that
No, he
actually
was like a balloon
was
animal
magic.
making magician.
Not a magic magician.
Right.
was this like
Not a
a
travel agent magician.
Right.
were you like on a quest to find yourself or
No,
something?
no. I
Were your hands broken in a car accident so you couldn't do surgery
yes,
anymore?
I right, and I learned all about
Doctor
the
Strange.
mystic,
Oh,
the
that's
mystic
Doctor
arts.
Strange. I
Yeah,
guessed it.
right.
Yay! What do I win?
Respect.
Are
No,
you
my-
gonna say the thing? Because
I'm
we gotta move
trying.
forward.
I know. Jesus. A member of my family was not doing well, and they had a lifelong desire to walk on the Great Wall of China. But it was considered that it would be a bad idea to send them to China by themselves in that state. So
China's not that bad.
A 36. Well, this is 1990.
Oh.
It's 27
and he wasn't
years
doing
ago.
well. It was more his health.
Oh,
Right.
I thought you meant the state of China.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So a $7,000 or $8,000 36-day trip throughout Asia was booked through the Smithsonian, and a ticket was.
What? Hold on. Was your uncle or whoever this was Indiana Jones? Is that why you love Indiana Jones so much?
No, I don't.
No,
I
they-
actually, I like the first movie. That's about it.
No.
No, the Smithsonian has a whole bunch of tours you can go on.
Yes,
Okay,
they
okay,
sponsored it,
all right.
and then they send
Yeah, it
people.
wasn't like-
they send professors on ancient China, and you go to ruins, and the professors explain the ruins to you, and they all speak Mandarin, so you can get around and things. So yeah,
Wow.
so we went on this trip, and I was told it would be paid for me if I would accompany my ill relative on their life's dream. And I thought, well, 36 days and basically in Tibet most of the time, that would be pretty cool. When am I ever going to get to Tibet anytime soon? Which I think was a wise decision because I really have not been anywhere near Tibet since then.
No.
Yeah, so turns out that Tibet has very few modern amenities.
Well, you were there 30 years ago. 30? No. 20.
Well, I don't think they've built a lot of Howard Johnsons since
yeah.
then.
No, about 30 years ago.
Yeah. So we went into. It was very funny because we flew into China, and for about 2 days we lived in the lap of luxury at the fanciest Western tourist hotel in Peking, and then
Which I think is Beijing now.
yes, and then we flew out to a far western province, which was really not as nice as Beijing, and then we flew from there into Tibet. The airport in Tibet is at 12,000 feet, which is about where Aspen was, so very high up, although it was the lowest point of Tibet. But it was very high up than what we're used to. And when you flew in and you landed on a runway strip, and you got out the plane, folded a ladder down, and you climbed down the ladder, and then the plane rolled off, and you're standing literally in a field, and there's not a building visible.
Wow.
It's just the middle of effing nowhere, and there's mountains. You're at 12,000 feet, and there's mountains all around you that are 10 to 15,000 feet higher than you are. That is very strange.
Did the person make it along the Great Wall of China?
Yes, we went to the Great Wall of China.
Oh, we should have made Double Happiness the sponsor.
Yes, we should have. That would have been an excellent idea. But we did go there, but he made the mistake of eating the Chinese tourist department packed lunch that day that they sent with us on the bus. I took one look and would not touch it, and he got horribly sick, and there was no Western doctor available, and they told him that they had an acupuncture treatment that would make him well again immediately and get rid of his stomach upset, but it involved putting the needles underneath your fingernails, and he agreed, and they did
That's
it.
how badly,
Yeah.
how sick he was.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So,
And it worked, right?
yes, worked. Did work.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, guys.
Quite a trip. I'll tell you
I'm
all
just
about
saying,
it some
wow.
other time. It's a hell of a trip. There's a lot of stories.
All right, folks. This is episode 130. Woohoo!
There's no effing way.
Yes, there is. And so we're going to have today as our guest Austin comedian until a couple weeks ago, just moved to New York City, Michael Folk. Yay! Also New Movement Theater. And some other fun stuff in October, November, December. We're going to have Vanessa Gonzalez out of Austin, Quasi Mensa out of Boston, Christian Spicer out of LA, and some more fun stuff. So let's...
Oh, yes!
Oh, yeah.
Some fun stuff going to be happening.
I wonder if any of them have ever been to Tibet or China before. That's my first question for all of those people.
Yeah, all right. Well, we can find out.
First question.
Or the most interesting place they've ever been. We can start with Michael today. Ask him what the most far-flung place he's ever been. So we're going to do a little fact-checking, guys. Can we have a little fact-checking swisheroos? By the way, hi, Willis. It's been a while since we've seen you.
Yeah, it's good to be seen. It's good to be heard.
Good to be heard.
Yeah.
It is. We all want to be heard. All right, guys, this is the part of the podcast where we correct the mistakes we made last episode to make room for the mistakes we're going to make this episode. Gary and Drew were really, all worked up about what is in a fig Newton. Does it have real figs? It does. Whether a real fig should be in a fig Newton. There are real figs in fig Newtons, but there are also a lot of other things like high fructose corn syrup, partially hydrogenated cottonseed oil, sodium benzoate, which I think is in soda, diet soda, and like Mountain Dew that people say is murdering us from the inside.
Yeah, there was a rap about that a few years ago.
Yeah.
When you're not feeling so great, you eat a lot of sodium benzoate.
That sounds more like a barbershop song than a rap
No, it's
song.
Scooby-Doo. You probably didn't hear it. You're not really into that kind of music.
The cottonseed oil. This one article points out it's a textile crop, not a food. But there it is. It's in the food. And then the other fact check I have here is we were talking about a story last week where the Detroit team went back to their
Future? Back to the Future?
No, they went back to their it's the dressing room, but they don't call it the
Locker
dressing
room?
Yes, the locker room.
Right.
After near
Makeup room?
a close room. He said locker room. I think that's right. And they were about to be given their dinner, I guess, and they opened the oven and it exploded into
Yes,
flames.
right.
And Drew described it as being engorged in flames.
Wow.
And this was soon after the walrus
Sounds
discussion.
dirty.
And then he got, anyway, just to clear things up, he meant engulfed. Engulfed, which has a past participle, engulfed, and the past participle is engulfed, is something, it means to sweep over something so as to surround or cover it completely, like the cafe was engulfed in flames. And engorged.
Can I read the definition of engorged?
I really don't want
Risk. That's really a risk.
It means...
Are you going to roll the
I
dice?
feel like
right
though, Wills, if I don't let him do this,
No.
Okay.
No. I'm
Go
saying
ahead.
go for it. I'm just saying.
it's going to get worse. He's going to do something worse out of spite later.
No, I was just going to read what you
Go
wrote.
ahead,
You
read
it.
No, you read it.
I just thought I could bring a little dramatic...
Go ahead.
Engorged, 1, caused to swell with blood, water, or another fluid.
You got an example in a sentence?
Yes. The river was engorged by a day-long deluge.
That's actually a little confusing because rivers run in gorges.
Mm-hmm.
Right, well, maybe they're related.
Are we going to have a...
Engorged versus engorged. That's a little confusing.
Yeah, technically, isn't it always engorged?
Yes,
In
it's
the- yeah.
as in a
But it's-
gorge.
but it's
Yes,
not
right,
engorged.
exactly.
Do we all
what I was
already
saying.
know what deluge means? Because I'm willing to pretend I do if everyone else in the room
I
already
know what a
knows.
deluge means. It's like a flood, man.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
knew that already.
What
but
about an
thank you.
umlaut? Do you know what
Like,
an umlaut is?
yeah, stop it. Stop doing 13-year callbacks of things that weren't on the podcast.
I was just asking.
When Gary and I were first
Hold on,
dating,
now I gotta
said,
hear this. Go ahead.
I said something about a joke about an umlaut, and I said, that dot accent that's over
Yeah,
the
she
German
sent me a
words.
second email a few minutes later explaining what an umlaut was because she
Well,
thought I didn't
don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of geniuses out there. I
No.
gotta tell you.
Several of the beers I was abusing at the time had umlauts in the name.
Yes, exactly. That's how you knew.
Oh,
Après moi le déluge. That was
right. Yes, Marie Antoinette or,
no,
or
I
the
think
husband.
it was Henry 16th.
No, it was in French. How's it going to be
Yes.
Henry the 16th?
Louis?
Not Henry, Louis the 16th.
Yes, her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said, husband.
Or maybe it was the 14th. One of those guys. Anyway.
And now sports.
All right.
Well, actually, before we get onto the sports, one tiny little thing from that Tibet trip I just remembered I would like to say. There was a member...
If
tiny.
there is a walrus in
No,
the
there's
story.
no walrus.
Okay.
You don't have walruses are not native to Tibet.
No.
Okay.
You have to ship those in.
Very little water of any kind that's not frozen. Okay, so
Look who's serious.
I'm not going to
all of a
mention the
sudden.
name of this person because this is exceedingly illegal. But somebody on our trip may or may not have smuggled a human skull, a 500-year-old human skull, out of Tibet in their luggage, brought it back to a dive bar in D.C., and drank the mixed drink Red Death out of it.
What? Are you serious?
That's
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's not reverent of human life.
Well,
or
it's
something.
a ceremony. It wasn't like a out of a
Hold on.
graveyard. It was a skull out of a an altar.
Out of a...
Like it had been used for several drinks, I imagine, over the years.
Did they have like a bag of sand, the equal weight of the skull
Right,
to swap out?
yes, because you got to do that. Dr. Jones.
I could tell all of y'all that, but then I'd have to kill you.
All right. That sounds like complicated and a lot of cleaning up.
Yeah, that was.
And we've got things to do.
That was really messed up of Jake the Snake Roberts to do that.
Yes,
That
it was.
a shame.
And Gary doesn't drink anymore, so he doesn't need skulls to drink out of.
No,
Right, exactly.
So it was kind of a waste.
He doesn't drink anything. Not Kool-Aid, nothing. Can I have a little, like, Hot Topic switcheroo?
It may have been boiled and then lined with plastic wrap.
I can't see Will's. I wish Will... Yes,
hi.
either you have to go back or Will's has to
But to be fair, no one listening to this podcast can either.
No, but I like to see because I'm gonna I like to be able to make angry faces if somebody's
At you.
Yeah, because Will's is the one that
yeah, because
throws us under the bus.
Nothing but trouble.
Blaire runs this podcast
No.
like an assistant principal.
Right.
She needs to give the face.
Right. I'm all about the fun.
If you're going to go on that field trip this week, Wills, you better behave.
That's right. All right, little hot topic. All right, guys, some hot topics this weekend. I already mentioned that you can see the Wacky the Walrus mascot cartoon on our Facebook page. There was
sure his name's Frosty.
There was a bit of a
Frosty the Walrus.
You know,
How's that? That's a compromise. Instead of being a Frosty Walrus, he's Frosty the Walrus.
All
Just his
right.
name. That's a compromise.
I'll take it under consideration. Well, we could put a Christmas hat on him. Maybe.
I think we've got enough. He has a better hat than that already.
Yeah, but the Christmas hat could be a Make America Great Again Christmas hat.
Oh, okay. All right.
Something to think about. All right, guys, you really got to check out that cartoon.
Kick that out to India and see what comes back.
That's right. It was Maddie Springer did it. Cam
Through
Newton.
the Indians. We don't talk to the Indians
No.
directly. We have
Right.
someone.
We have a go-between. Cam Newton had a kerfluffle this week, and he said something.
I think it's
Who is
funny.
that? Who is that?
Cam Newton, your fantasy football quarterback.
Oh, I knew it sounded familiar.
Yeah, and then it turns out the journalist who he said it to, is tweeted out racist stuff, and then there's nobody or anything to believe in anymore. Was kind of how I came away. But what I thought was interesting is that there are people on different sides who are like, no, this was worse, no, that was worse. Why can't it all just be terrible?
It was all.
Why can't we be disappointed in both of them and both of them be idiots?
I kind of hope that whenever I get, if I ever get national attention, and
Sure.
people go dig through my old tweets,
Yeah.
all they discover about me is that I am underratingly funny. Like I
Right.
just hope look at all these old Wills Maxwell tweets that only got one retweet. Look at this.
Right. I am screaming into the dark void when I tweet anything out.
Yeah.
It's nothing. Nobody. Occasionally Wills will like something, and that's it. It's just me and Wills back and forth.
Wills
We might as well
likes-
just get a private line.
We have each other.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
have each other.
Will
A
just
direct
likes
line.
all the racist stuff that you tweet.
Yeah, right.
That's what he likes.
No, but so Cam.
This will sink Blair's
This
career.
technically is more. This is more sexism until you take in her history. I guess that was
the
racism.
first part is sexism. And
Right.
here's the thing. I'm not saying he needs to be fired. I don't see the NFL sanctioning him, but he was a total dick.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a massive thing
He
to-
was a
big
total
move.
dick. He was he was chuckling. He was condescending as fuck.
Yeah.
He was saying like,
What if he
"It's-
has brain injuries, though?
I don't care.
You don't care if he has that brain disease thing?
Not when it comes to this. I don't care. No. So the I don't. No, you're not throwing me off.
You know,
track.
he's a running quarterback. He takes
Look.
more shots than your traditional pocket quarterback.
Until I'm being
Helps out with a lot of charities.
until I'm
Yeah.
given. You can help charities and still be sexist.
Cam Newton's gonna die of CTE like 3 weeks from now, and that'll be his eulogy.
Well, then I'll apologize.
Here's my question: if you're criticizing a black man for sexism, does that make you a racist?
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
No, it doesn't. Gary's
I don't
trying
know.
to find a way to make. Gary said as we were walking in to tape this podcast, we are going to push every button that you have.
I do think.
I think it's very cute that you're bringing this up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny to hear a woman talk about
Yeah.
social issues.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Good job, little lady.
All right.
I do think race does kind of play into it a little bit though, in the criticism he's getting, just in that it was a fucked up thing he said. It was rude. It was awful.
And he said it in a very he was in a press conference. Like it wasn't something that someone caught off mic. It was super on stage.
It was awful. But also he's being torn. He's lost endorsements because of this. He's being torn apart. I'm not weighing in on whether or not he should have lost the endorsement, but I do think there is something of being black in general comes with you have to be this much more on point. You have to be this much more. You have to be, and especially there's not a lot of black quarterbacks. You're in a higher size place. You have to be this much more infallible, basically, because you will be torn apart. And we have guys in the NFL who are being accused of assault and sexual, all these much worse things than what he's done.
And that's another thing. We could go in a whole other direction when we talk about all the stuff people get either very small or no punishments for.
Can we fact check that?
What's that?
Because that used to be really true. For a long time. I'm not sure that
he's the only black quarterback.
I know he's not the only one.
I didn't say he's the only one. There's not a lot. But
I don't know if that's sitting here, I would bet money, although I'm not certain. You know how these things go. I'm not certain, but I bet money that there are more black quarterbacks than white quarterbacks.
Right now?
Yeah.
I think that's worth a fact check.
All right.
It's just interesting.
But still, he's high profile, and he was
sure.
very famous. Now with the endorsement, I don't know what else he's lost. I know he lost the one Greek yogurt one.
Yeah.
Now, but
which might really, that might be helpful.
But
Greek yogurt. I mean, come on.
But the reason that I think he lost that is because why? It's a bunch of middle-aged women who buy that Greek yogurt
what does Cam Newton bring to the Greek yogurt party?
I don't know, but I always thought it was a little weird, but whatever.
They're trying to get me to eat Greek yogurt.
Okay, they're trying to get Will to get Greek yogurt.
Yeah, but we're not buying. I don't think you're buying it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're not buying it.
He's also lactose intolerant, so there's a whole other thing.
I'm a millennial. I still drink Go-Gurts in the car on the way to work.
I don't think anybody believes the yogurt company went around peering in windows until hey, who knew Cam Newton eats Greek yogurt? Let's show this fact to the masses. No, I think they gave him $1 million and said what they told him to.
Right, yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So, but it was, I think there are things there was just that a lot of people were like, well, it's no big deal. Or a lot of people saying to me it wasn't sexist. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was her workplace. She was doing her
Oh,
job.
yeah. There's not even an argument.
Someone's like, well, it was his office. I'm like, if you don't think that you can be in your office and have a contractor come in and be sexist to that person, I'll give you a list of examples that I have personally witnessed. Because, yes, you can. Right. So that's just it. And then she...
You had to watch it, too. You had to watch it, because if you just heard this story, when you saw his face...
Oh, it was so shitty.
Yeah.
A lot of pride in seeing your receivers play well. Devin Funchess has seemed to really embrace the physicality.
You can't see his face.
Maybe he thought when she said Devin, he said Ron Funches, so he thought that was funny. Because we all like Ron Funches.
No,
routes and getting those extra yards. Does that give you a little bit of an enjoyment to see him kind of truck sticking people out there?
It's funny to hear a female talk about routes.
Fucking kill him.
See, I think they cut. I don't think that's.
But
it's
coming along.
It's
man.
all. It's all one.
This is a big game for him because of him being from
the
Detroit.
reason it seems short is because that whole time she's asking a question, he is
Maybe
laughing and shaking his head.
My memory of it on TV was that there was about a 10-second gap between she finished the question where he was just laughing in dead silence and for 10 seconds, and then. But maybe you're right. Maybe he was just laughing while she was saying it.
It was both, and it's.
Would you like me to speak of his emotions before he speaks what he's doing, like I'm coaching him?
Oh yeah.
Well, like you're a voiceover.
This sounds like a solid bit, and we will not get in the way of it.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
That rhymed.
All right, just suck your lips a little bit. Oh, okay, there you go. Perfect. Okay, now it's kicking in. You're looking at her. You're acting like you're not sexist. Oh, now you're smiling. You smile, Playboy. There you go. Very nice. Oh, look at them dimples. All right.
Funny.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
All right, and they dig up these tweets where she's saying racist things, and I didn't see the tweets until last night, and then I didn't even really understand them, except they were definitely had racist phrases in them.
You know,
and the whole thing is ridiculous, and everyone sucks.
Our maiden name's Hitler, so.
Well, okay. Well, there you go.
When that was discovered, it blew the whole story to another level.
Then it's like you don't even know what to focus on anymore. Don't even know what to focus on. Can we please have some change of topic music, please?
What do you want to change this topic for? It's the best topic we ever
got to get ready for Michael Fulton. All right, guys. Gary Mosley, baseball. Do we care now?
October.
Gary, it's October. We got to care now.
Hold on. Sorry, I have one quick question.
Oh, God.
Are we are we saying Dak Prescott is white or black?
Dak Prescott's black.
Okay. Well, I don't say he's mixed, right? I don't know. I'm trying to compile the list.
Let's count everyone that has that's mixed as black.
Yes,
No,
I think you have
that's
to.
racist.
I think you have to go by the Barack Obama definition, which is that if you had to grow up in America, essentially being treated by society as a black person, then probably that's the way to go.
All right, I'll call Dak Prescott. See what happens.
All right, baseball. Baseball. Do we care? Come on, you got to care now. Didn't the Nationals win a thing?
The only reason you care is because the way these things lines.
And when you say you, don't mean me personally.
No, anyone on Earth should care is because the Cubs series is for the championship, probably. In my opinion. Is it Cubs? I'm not buying the Indians. I know they won 79 games in a row. Is the Nationals? Yeah, I think the winner that's going to win. So. Okay. That's a hell of a first round series.
How's that series going?
It's 1-1, I believe.
Okay.
I believe the Cubs won the first game and Nationals won the second game, and they're probably playing today, and I don't know.
Okay, who are your World Series team picks?
Nationals and the Indians.
All right. Well, you would like the Nationals too.
Yeah, that's my team.
All right. A little switcheroo, please, Mr. Bishop. College football. Discuss. Is Michigan having a hard time?
Yeah, I think they are.
How about the power rankings? It looks like they're going to have a hard time with Penn State and Ohio State.
Yes.
With what they've been putting up recently.
Bizarrely.
I saw 5 minutes of SportsCenter.
Right. Bizarrely. And this blows my.
Before I came here,
you got to see like 3 lines on that side of that.
When I was drying my hair out of the shower before I came over, I saw some stuff. Go ahead.
On that coming up bar, you saw like 3 things on that segment.
Yes.
And I was like, that's enough.
Yeah, that'll take me. Go ahead, Gary.
You know what that reminds me of?
Gary,
what? That reminds me of this book I read one time. It was science fiction.
Is this an incredibly long and convoluted pun?
No.
Do you swear
it's
to
real.
God?
Yes, this really reminds me of this. Where they had this card game. With this alien was the master in the galaxy, was the greatest, and this card game had 1 million, it was the most complex card game ever invented, and he was the master. And another guy owed some money to a Jabba the Hutt type, and he could only settle it by defeating this guy at this card game, and he'd never played it, and you had a staff of like 10 professors to determine after each card played what was the result. It was so complex. So what he did was, he just laid all his cards down, didn't do anything, he just pushed a whole pile of chips in on the first hand he was dealt, laid them down, and so he had a 50-50 chance, even though he didn't understand the game at all. One of their hands was going to be better. It took him 20 minutes to figure out whose it was, and he ended up winning. So you hearing like 5 minutes of SportsCenter and being able to talk on one thing, like one team in one subject of one thing, it's kind of like that. Like if we had a 30-minute discussion about college football, you'd lose because you don't have anything else to say. But if we can stick to that one topic that you happen to hear in SportsCenter, you can look like you know something.
Well, I've been doing 130 episodes of this podcast, so I kind of know what it takes at this point to do my particular role.
It's just funny to hear a woman talk about college football.
It's funny to hear a female talk.
Guys, the look Blaire is giving me right now, I think this is my last
Did
show.
you want to look at?
I'm torn because
aren't you upset now that you're looking at them like you?
I'm really upset with the whole way that's going to come.
We're not going to find a history of
but-
racist tweets, are we?
But it was hilarious, so I'm not sure how to react.
Right.
Okay, but seriously.
Yes.
So college football, Michigan's eating it. What's going on?
I don't even know. Is Michigan eating it? I
Yeah.
guess. Bizarrely, it's headed for a 3rd year in a row showdown between Alabama and Clemson.
Well, I did pass a lot of people coming back from Clemson, Asheville with a lot of Clemson, like Clemson barbecue things on the back of their car and
Yeah.
stuff. It was apparently a big weekend.
Well,
for
you
them.
went down near, didn't you?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
I drove right by it. But so that was on my mind as well. Did they just have a homecoming or something? It was a big weekend
and
for them.
Oklahoma was a number 3 team, and they lost to Iowa State, I think, which is
And you had said
bizarre.
last time that Florida State was doing poorly. Are they
Florida
still?
State is 0-2 for the first time since, like the, I don't know, pyramids were built or something.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yeah.
All right.
Their pre-pyramid record, though.
Yes, right. That was the golden age. The golden age.
Yes, everyone thinks that thing is the Sphinx, but it's actually the Kentucky mascot.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, can I have a switcheroo, please?
Let's bury our pharaohs in this.
All right. Oh, actually, can I have the very special My Fantasy Wife podcast NFL?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, you
dun, 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 dun.
Wills hasn't heard that.
No, I caught that last week.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
good.
All right, NFL Week in Review, Gary. Do you want to start? What's going on in our fantasy league? We're playing each other today.
Yes, we are, and you're beating the bejesus out of me in the
Yeah,
current
but
score.
you got more people to play yet.
Yeah.
Well, is that all you have to say? Jesus
I
Christ.
have a question about football.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Are we counting Hawaiian as white or black or its own thing?
Its own thing.
Okay.
Well, no, it depends.
Is the question black quarterbacks versus white quarterbacks, or white quarterbacks versus people of color quarterbacks?
You said black, so we're going with black.
Okay.
I think we're going with black.
All right.
But you can be a black person from Hawaii.
Yeah, no. I think what he was meaning was like Samoan or Hawaii.
I got you. Okay.
I'll break it down, don't worry.
Okay. All right. Are you going to talk any more about our fantasy?
Yes, you
league?
asked me a question I don't know the answer to.
I'm sorry, I threw you off by asking what we're counting Hawaiian.
Well, if you want to talk about our league, there's one thing to talk about.
What's that?
Somebody appears to be making more of an effort this year than they have made in previous years.
Well, who would that be?
Well, you tell me.
Would it be Mr. Bishop by any chance?
Yeah.
Hold on, me? No, seriously. I haven't looked at it once. I couldn't tell you. It's just my year. You know,
Gary can tell when you've drafted, moved
all
people around.
All the changes that are made, I can see.
I haven't changed. Okay, this is something you guys are coming up with. I haven't changed a thing. Someone has hacked my account or something.
There's 10 teams, and only one of them is undefeated. Guess whose it is?
Marcus Mariota.
He's not in our league. You, however, are in our league.
Yes, Lewis Bishop is the undefeated player, only one in our league.
Faced with the adversity of transparency, Bishop knew what he had to do. He put together an all-star team and kept bluffing to his friends that he was in fact doing nothing, while the whole while Team Bishop
Gary, what
was
kind
on
of
the
can
move.
you see like what he's done on your thing?
Probably now. It's a little complex.
Okay.
I don't want to eat up, all my valuable.
Right. Yeah, we only have a
fantasy
few
time.
minutes here. But yeah,
A lot of dry erase boards.
I would like to say that both you and I are ahead of Drew in our side of the league.
Let me ask you something. If you open the other bedroom door up here, do you think that the picture on the wall there would be covered with like pictures of NFL players and there would be strings connecting them and little colored lines drawn?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
He's made a whole thing. But Drew is only 1-3. Like to point that out.
Yeah.
Because he's very braggadocious about his
The
former.
previous year's champion, not doing so hot, going into week 5 of the NFL.
But seriously,
fantasy.
what's your secret, Mr. Bishop? Or Gary, you tell.
Supercalifragilistic extra braggadocious?
Yes,
Yes,
I
okay.
want to know.
Solid.
What do you?
My
what do
only
you think-
regret is that does not fit on the license plate.
Well,
Yeah, that's you're gonna have to buy a minivan or something to put that on.
Put that on.
what are you gonna say? Who's the key to his success, Mr. Besides himself?
Well, let me look. I don't even know. I was so stunned to see the standings. I didn't even look at the team.
And Bishop
I
sat
figured we've
in
been
silence,
hacked.
knowing that the key to his success was in fact himself.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, Blaire.
He's got
Key to his
R.
good fantasy
Wilson.
team is the owner.
He's got Howard. He's got Fournette. Beckham is out, and he dropped.
Yeah, he did have Beckham did get hurt, like a major knee injury. Looks like today.
Yeah, but he got some points before he got out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he left somebody in there who's a bye.
And he's still winning by 80 or something.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Fournette had 30 points today.
All right. Who do you think's gonna win between you and me, Gary?
This team is unbelievable. How does he have all these guys?
Thank you.
He auto drafted them.
You know what we ought to do in future years? We ought to examine the teams at the beginning of the year before the games start and analyze, like, so we don't get caught by surprise by these situations. We should analyze what they're all like and who's got the best team, and that way.
You do that every year.
Well, no, I'm saying like
you do that every year. It's called Gary's Friend Alienation Special.
So I probably said Lewis had the best team.
No, you did not. You did not. He was tied for last.
Well, perhaps we should wait until the end of the year.
Okay. All right.
Because I have a feeling, it's just a gut feeling, I don't know if these standings are going to hold.
All right. He's got a long way to fall, so he's probably going to make it to the playoffs.
Maybe.
What about between you and I? Who do you think is going to win tonight?
Well, I'm projected to win by 30 points.
Okay. Well, that's probably.
Yeah,
Tom Brady did not a lot for me.
The only thing I'll say, I have all my players in one game. If that game turns out to be 3-0, you're going to kill me.
All right.
So, root for a low-scoring Sunday night game between the Chiefs and the...
Tom Brady really hurt me this week.
Well, he got 12.
Yeah, but that's not what we're counting on from him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about going on in the NFL in general? Who do you like? Who's looking better than you thought they would?
When you play a powerhouse, you can't fault your candle.
I don't... What?
How's that? How's that?
It's terrible.
You remember on Family Guy when the guy that invented electricity had a house and he had the only and the other guy was
Thomas
like, "You dick! I have to sit here and kill." Yeah, that's like
no.
our opposing fantasy.
Answer the question.
I'm Thomas Edison.
Gary has 2 fortune cookies taped together.
Right. Team that you think is doing better than expected or worse than expected
in the NFL? Well, the Chiefs being 4-0. Andy Reid's a great coach. He's never been anywhere he didn't win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cowboys at 2-2 are a disappointment. Houston has looked great. That rookie's fantastic. He's a number 2 or number 3 quarterback in fantasy.
All right.
So,
how about the Raiders?
Raiders, unfortunately, quarterback got hurt, and that hurts because last year they were rolling along 10-4 or something like that, and the quarterback got hurt, and then they still made the playoffs and lost in the first round. They need the quarterback, obviously.
Okay. Anything else before we call our guest?
I could talk football all day.
I have the stats on the quarterback.
Oh, you fact checked it already?
I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Is this starting or is this everybody?
Starting.
Okay.
All right.
I went, oh, God, I don't have time to go
okay.
everybody.
We don't have to go into the bench.
You didn't add up the practice squad?
He didn't.
No.
What's wrong with you?
Guys, he didn't just look this up. This is on his wall with all those strings.
I know. I know. He sat here and pretended to write things for 5 minutes so we wouldn't know that he already knew.
I was like, you're talking about page 15.
He already knew exactly the ethnic makeup of all the starting quarterbacks of the
because
league.
He recruits fantasy by race.
Right, exactly. It's a despicable tactic, but it's working for him. So
he's
I don't know.
4-0. We can't criticize.
I don't know what to
we all need to start doing that, I guess.
Some people call me the Joseph Mangala of
no,
fantasy.
Nobody does.
Okay. Some people call you the gangster of love, though.
No, okay. Why don't... Yeah.
That was the original lyric to that song. They changed it because he didn't think it would sell.
Some people call me the Joseph Mangala.
Because I speak to the competence of love.
To the competence of DNA.
Okay.
How about Gangster of Love? What do you think of that? Or about Maurice? How about we just replace the Mangala line with Maurice? All right.
I don't know. Let's sleep on it.
Mangala. All right.
That's the part everyone sings. Mangala.
What's your...
Nothing rhymes with that, though.
Right?
What is your... it's like orange. What's your breakdown of starting quarterbacks, black versus white numbers?
Well, Blaire, out of the NFL, there's 32 teams, 32 franchises.
Yes.
Out of those 32 franchises, we will say white/Caucasian or not Hispanic. Like if you were filling out a paperwork at your doctor's office. Let's see here. 23 of those have ancestors that come from the European nations.
Oh, so I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
23 out of the African-American, African, or West Indian, we would say 8.
All right.
Wow.
And last but not least, representing the Samoan Islands, one Samoan, half German, but we'll say Samoan quarterback in the NFL.
Who's that?
Marcus Mariota.
All right. Okay.
Samoan?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's fun.
Yeah,
hey, he does not look Samoan.
Yeah.
You know what?
Is that okay to
nope.
say that?
Yeah. Nope. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe you don't. No, he does look Samoan. That's why I asked if we were.
No, I mean, it looks like he's from New Jersey.
I guess as long as you
that's
don't
what
mean it
people
as
from New Jersey look like. We're a bunch of stuff. I got all kinds of stuff.
You don't look Samoan either.
I know exactly.
Are you Samoan?
Yes.
130 episodes.
I know.
Wow.
And we've been together for like 14 years, Wills.
But still, 130 episodes.
All right, guys. We're going to call our guests.
What are we going to call him?
We're going to call him Michael Falk.
Ooh.
Why you...
That's comedy.
What is this?
I don't know. This is NFL music, but it sounds like...
No, it sounds like
it sounds like
the horror show.
It sounds like John Carpenter.
What's that show about the jail rape?
No,
Midnight Run. It sounds like Midnight Run a little bit. It does. Midnight Run? No, Midnight Express. It sounds like Midnight Express a little bit.
Midnight Run was with...
Yeah, right. That's not a jail rape movie.
That was... Who was the guy who had the...
I think it was
MSNBC
The Fly. Wasn't it
show.
The Fly? Wasn't he in that?
I gotta stop. I need a break.
I was say, yeah, you're...
Oh, Michael.
Oh, Michael.
Oh, Michael.
Speaking of Michael...
Oh, we have such a good game.
Can we call Topher?
You've reached Michael Folk.
Oh, no. Michael.
Oh, call Topher.
No, we're going to call Michael again. Not right this second, but... Because I don't think
this
Topher's
hasn't happened in quite a while.
This sounds like if I was making my own parody of Halloween, like the music I
that's
used to
why
get
I
away
said-
with the license.
That's what I said, John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cheap Halloween-based video game. They didn't want to pay the license. That's exactly what it's like.
Wait a second. Speaking of cheap video games, Wills.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. Tell him what you found.
Okay, so I was at GameStop the other day, just bored and just walked in. And I don't know if you guys remember the traumatic story from my childhood. I told you about not getting Madden when I was like 12.
Yeah, I don't remember the game, but yes.
Yes, I found my parents bought me NFL head coach because my grades weren't good enough to get Madden.
They weren't so bad that you didn't get anything.
Yeah, it was C
But we want you a
students
game
get head
that's
coach.
really more of a homework assignment.
Yeah, so the head coach, you don't play football. You just do paperwork in the office all day and then call the plays once you get to the season.
Right.
So I found out, so I thought that was the only game that existed. I thought that was the only game in the franchise. I found out at the GameStop
Baseball.
that they made an NFL head coach 09. They made exactly one sequel before they canceled the franchise altogether. So
And I really think, did you buy it?
I did pick it up.
Okay, because I told him that my fantasy wife would finance if he bought it. And I think you and Will should play this game.
I think all four of us should. I think we should have a tournament.
Yeah, okay, whatever. We should do
I
that.
will, I will tell you what I remember of this game. It is an extremely single-player game because it is you in an office. I cannot stress enough. You
Okay.
spend 30 hours of gameplay in an office.
Okay, well, this is going to be even more fun. One of us plays, and the other three give advice in a nagging manner throughout the whole thing, and then tell them what they think they're doing wrong as they're doing
How is
it.
that any different from my regular life?
That's my life, yeah.
And send everything through memos, through faxes.
Yes.
We got to get 5 fax machines.
What does it play on? What kind of device?
I have a PS3. So
Okay.
I can bring you guys some...
Can we use the e-fax, or do we actually have to have a fax machine?
No, I want an actual fax.
Okay.
So you're gonna. So we gotta
Instead
set
of
this up.
letter.
How about if we use e-fax on an old slow connection that makes that weird noise when you try to hook up?
So I can...
Yeah.
Ding the ding.
Right, yes.
For some extra web content, I can record what's happening on the screen. I can figure that out.
That would be nice.
And if you guys just want to come over sometime and watch me sit in an office and figure out my depth chart.
What is
Yes.
it? What form? Is this a computer game?
It's on the PS3. So, but yeah.
We got to
Okay.
figure out the best way to do this because I do think there should be some video for web content, but I also think, I want to.
Yes,
I wanna,
that sound.
yes.
Exactly.
I'll let you guys know, when I played this game as a kid, I did think I had gotten like some cool like Madden Plus type thing because I played that whole preseason. Again, like 30 hours of gameplay through the preseason. Thinking when I get to the regular season, I'm going to get to play football too. This is great. You do not.
You never get to play football.
You just tell your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator what you want to do, and then they make up their minds. They decide.
Do they show when you have to go into the cardiologist because you're getting really serious heart disease because
Yes.
you're working 90 hours a week and you don't get any exercise and you don't eat well?
Maybe if you keep going.
What about,
long
like, do they go with you to the family therapist because your kid's getting into a lot of trouble at school because he never sees you?
No.
I
No,
want
they
to
don't
know
do
how
that.
realistic
No.
this game is.
It's
All right, we got to
It's
figure
like
out.
I don't even get the final say on the calls. It's like, hey, do this, and it's like, oh, the offensive coordinator changed his mind from what you told him to do.
We should do this sometime between now and the 22nd when Drew's going to be out and Will's going to be here.
Okay.
And I'm going to be on the phone.
Okay.
All right,
Do
we're going to
you ever
try.
play a lot of video games, Blaire?
No.
You know, when I
played Frogger, and then I played some Weird Adventure games, and I was doing homework, you know.
Oh.
I was not a C student.
I got my allowance in quarters.
You got your answer?
I got my allowance in quarters.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds like... All right, I'm calling Michael
I'm
again.
just saying, whenever I hear you talk about video games, it's just, you know...
It doesn't ring true, does it?
Wait, I'm calling Michael
To hear a female talk about
video games.
You know what? Screw you, Cam Newton Bishop. Aww. Michael.
I really wasn't in the mood. I gotta tell you. I really wasn't.
Should we call Topher?
Should we call Topher? Sure.
I like Topher. I think he's always hilarious.
Yeah.
Michael's hilarious,
Hold
too.
on, I have a question.
You've reached Michael.
He just started a new...
Topher's the most talented failure I've ever met.
Let's see if he agrees with you. You think that he'd take that as a compliment?
Yeah, so many people that we know from those days with much less talent have been much more successful, is what I'm saying.
Well,
He's got a fantastic talent level. It's just a complete failure.
Gary Haynes.
What?
Let's put it all together.
No, I'm complimenting him. He's very talented.
Right. Would you rather be not talented? And
untalented success? That'd be
I
hard
don't
to live
know.
with.
It's
You feel
kind of like
guilty all
that
the time.
satisfied pig, dissatisfied Socrates thing that Kant would used to talk about. Immanuel Kant.
He's a real pissant.
Are we finally going to...
Hey, Blaire.
Hey, Topher, you're on the air with My Fantasy Wife podcast. How are you?
What?
Yes! Topher, our guest didn't pick up, so we thought we would call you because our co-hosts think you're so funny.
Yes.
Gary just called you the most talented failure from any of our friends in D.C.
See?
Do you think that's true?
This is a lot to sink in. This is an awful...
Whatever includes that in the sentence.
Okay. Well, here are the topics we were going to talk about with our guests, but it reminded me of something that we could talk about with you.
Topher's going to do very poorly on this quiz.
No, I don't even know if we'll do the quiz. I can't decide yet.
Okay.
But first of all, our guest, who's a really great guy, and he just started a new job in New York, and I'm guessing that they kept him over. And so I'm just saying, I understand. He's not on my, he's not on my.
Oh, you're on
my
the
bad
shit list, buddy.
No, he's not. He used to do Taekwondo when he was a kid, and his mom was a single mom, and she did it too, and they entered a tournament together, and hijinks ensued.
You know who's going to be mad that he didn't show? The sponsor. There goes all their hits. The sponsor's going to be mad.
Yeah.
There's no sponsor.
Yeah, oh, yes, there is.
It was Wacky the Walrus.
Real quick, just out of curiosity.
Wait.
Hey, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to...
No, go ahead.
Hey, Topher, we just kind of like interrupt. What were you in the middle of doing as you just randomly got a podcast phone call in the middle of your Sunday?
Wow.
Wait, what's that?
What were you doing when we called?
I think we all know what he was doing. If you just let him finish, he'd participate.
What
did we catch you doing?
What did we catch you in the middle of?
Yeah. That you're just suddenly on a
It's
podcast.
super sad. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
You're a train wreck.
I'm researching Medicaid.
It's not that sad.
So we're a welcome reprieve from that.
We're assuming.
So when you were a kid, Topher,
it exists.
Weren't you your sport was tap dancing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Weren't you an amazing tap
I played
dancer?
Soccer.
Okay,
I was a pretty good tap dancer. I was good at soccer too.
Yeah, but what are the cool pictures of you from?
Dancing.
Dancing.
Right.
Yeah. So let's be serious. What do you think about the Nationals? How they're doing in the baseball matches right now? You live in D.C.
Oh, God, the people on the Metro seem excited about it.
Yeah, I bet they do. I bet they do. See a lot of extra hats and stuff?
I do.
How would you know? You don't ride the Metro.
You don't know his life.
No, he gets driven.
No, he does. He does.
Uber.
Yeah, Uber.
Uber, yes, right. That sounds more believable.
And so, are you following any of the NFL sports matches?
Can I tell you something about the Nationals?
Sure.
I was looking at an event in Adams Morgan, D.C.
Yes.
And they're giving away free marijuana edibles.
Okay.
To different companies.
Right.
Different companies are trying
that's right, because
get you to
it's
buy
legal
their
there
stock.
now, right?
Because it's legal.
Yeah.
And it's one of the sponsors is the Nationals.
Really?
Really?
Yes, I saw their logo on it.
That's bizarre.
That's very interesting. Very
That's
interesting.
DC.
Well, there
Wow.
you go. What about
Are you sure they didn't just steal that logo and put it on without permission?
They may have.
Yeah.
It's totally possible. What's your favorite sports memory for the over your entire life, Topher? Sports related.
My dad.
What?
I went to. I was talking to my dad.
Yeah.
And you know what he said to me? He turns to me and he said, "I don't know why you ever played baseball. You weren't ever any good at it."
That's your favorite sports memory?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now
That's
you-
sadder than the Medicaid thing.
Wow, we.
Goodness gracious.
Do you know anything? Do you know anything about Magic: The Gathering?
I do.
You do?
Oh my
Can I tell
God.
you why? Can I tell you why my dad said that?
Oh,
Please. Sure.
well,
we don't have a schedule.
I played right field. I would go out to right field, and I would.
It's where the bodies are buried.
Untie the ties on my gloves, and I would.
gloves.
tie
You had
in-
more than one.
No glove in my, my mitt,
Oh.
and I would tie in dandelions and clover.
Right.
So that when I got back at the end of the inning, my mitt was covered with flowers.
Right.
Right. So that was not the image that he was looking to project as a father.
No.
During
Well, so if you had become a professional baseball player, you really would have needed to play for the Cubs so that you could weave the ivy from the wall.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes, it'd be really
Exactly.
That'd be nice. Or maybe you should have been a groundskeeper or something.
nice. Oh, yeah.
I know, right?
Could have been the David Toma of baseball.
Yes, he could have been. Nice. Former groundskeeper of the NFL.
Right.
All right. Do you really know anything about Magic: The Gathering?
No, I don't.
I knew it. I knew
like
it.
these.
That's a weird brag, Topher.
I like
I know,
Topher's
I'll
stories better.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like Topher's such an interesting character.
He
in
is.
this-
He's known everybody who was anybody in DC who's come up through DC comedy. We're not going to talk about it now, but yeah, you've done it all. Topher, I'm going to be there in a couple weeks. Next week, by the way.
Exciting.
Yeah. I can tell. I was not Topher's best improv student.
No.
So, yeah.
No, but that's not going to stop him from asking for tickets when you become famous.
Right. No. Okay. Well, thanks for that confidence. That was a big jolt of confidence in me, Gary.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Well, everyone but Topher from that group seems to be,
Doing well.
Yeah.
Andrew is the editor of Mashable. Rory is Rory. Candy does national commercials out in LA.
Who is the editor of Mashable?
Andrew Freeman is the weather editor for Mashable.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a true thing.
It's another brick in the wall.
I bet he's looking at Medicaid right now too, though. So
Can I ask
Yes.
why
Yeah.
you're? I'm gonna regret this. Why are you looking at Medicaid research stuff?
Because people aren't paying for improv. I'm coaching and I'm teaching and I'm
Oh.
doing corporate workshops. I'm doing corporate workshops.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Word.
get them.
You
You know what I'm talking about?
You're doing
Yeah,
corporate
she knows,
workshops
she knows
for
what
what?
you're talking about.
It's hard to get corporate workshops.
It is hard to get
Yeah,
corporate
huh.
workshops.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Blaire?
Yes, I used to be a corporate
Yes.
agent.
Yeah.
Everyone, no one cares. Well, if you could ask Gary one question, what would it be? Oh, you know what? If you could ask Louis Bishop one question, what would it be?
Oh, Topher doesn't know me.
Exactly. That's why it's interesting.
Okay. Do I have to be honest?
We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Who's funnier, Blaire or Gary?
Oh.
He does.
Little
know you.
Johnny Appleseed sowing the seeds of destruction.
Well, guys, this has been a good run. I've enjoyed doing this podcast with you every once in a while.
You're evil. I forgot how evil you were.
Yes. He's an evil little man spinning his spells out there in the daisies.
Yeah. He's high and his bunions hurt, and that's what came out.
Now everyone's staring at me.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
let's see. How can I be diplomatic about this?
No.
For the first time ever.
Can I ask a different question?
Sure.
We'll just let that one hang there.
And then he
I
didn't
think
answer.
to hang out with such funny people. They're both very funny.
Yes, they're very funny. Yes. You know that.
What's your other
you're
question?
Such a kiss ass.
You know the
Well,
real
he
answer.
wants me to take him out to dinner.
I know.
I will. What's your other question, Toph?
Of him?
Yeah.
You just ask if you could ask another question.
Yeah, you asked if you could ask another question.
Oh, another question. Isn't it so great to work with you guys?
All right.
I look forward to it every week.
Right.
It's insufferable.
It's really, yeah, it's really.
I have a question.
What?
What don't Blaire and Gary have that you bring to the show?
What do?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I would say that like all the sound effects and stuff that they don't that adds an extra layer to the show.
A studio.
Yeah, that too.
That's one
I
thing
would
he
say
has.
somebody who does not give a crap about which of us is right about whatever stupid thing we're fighting about at that time.
Oh.
So reason. I would say
yes,
reason.
Yes.
He brings his childlike laughter. That's what makes me say what I say.
Right.
Yeah.
If I did not have Lewis's childlike laughter, I would not open my mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Pale, baby blue eyes.
Right.
Nice.
The only football story I know today
Yeah.
is that Mike Pence walked out of a football game in Indiana
Why?
because the Colts took a knee.
Oh, wow. That's news.
So he walked out.
Did he walk out during the national anthem though? Because that's even
That
more
does
disrespectful.
seem. It does
That's
seem
kind of-
disrespectful.
But he did walk out on his knees, so
It's getting very confusing. All the different.
What
kinds
does
of
his niece
protests.
have to do with anything? Is she like playing the organ for the anthem? Or
yeah,
something?
she was. She was singing.
So Topher, what's the name of your company that you do the improv workshops with?
Improv Connects.
Oh, is there a website?
Sure, it's improvconnects.com.
Did you hear that, Brian? If you ever want to do...
It's Improv Connect.
I do teamwork workshops. I do creativity workshops. I do leadership workshops.
Well, he's only one guy. He can't do all of it, but I'm sure he'll pick one.
No, I can do all of them.
He can do all those.
No, Topher can do them, but Brian can only take one.
Oh.
Brian.
Our listener. He can only take one.
Gary says his friend Brian's the only listener. It's not because I see all the download reports every week, and it's just a lie that he says
No.
to hurt my feelings. Okay.
No.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, Topher, thank you for filling in. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
You're not going to give him the quiz?
Well, he says he doesn't know anything about Magic the Gathering.
I know.
Should we? You want
Our supposed guest was an expert
go
on
for
Magic
it.
the Gathering.
I feel like we should.
We'll do the quiz real quick.
Okay, we'll do the
See if I
quiz
can
real
get
quick.
anything.
Okay, the Magic the Gathering trivia challenge.
Some of it's true and false. You should get something.
Okay, true or false? Number one. What is that? Unset? I didn't know what that was supposed to be.
Oh, one. It was one.
Okay.
One set.
One set was created that came with bubble gum in the pack. Is that true or false?
That's true.
It's false because of health reasons.
Yeah, they wanted to do one time, and evidently there were sanitary reasons
Do
why
you
they...
know what Magic the Gathering is? It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but you play with cards.
Cards. Does that mean that baseball put out like roach-infested bubblegum
Very
all the time?
possibly.
Or does
Most
that mean that
likely.
they went to some level that the others weren't prepared? I don't know. That worried me a little bit about all the baseball card bubblegum that I ate
Yeah,
in
you
my
should
youth.
be worried.
Number two, only once has any Magic the Gathering product contained advertising for a non-Magic the Gathering product. It was an ad on the back of a card. What was the movie that was advertised? The only advertising they ever did. So it must be a blockbuster movie.
The kind of game it is, so keep that in mind.
Magic the Gathering.
The word magic.
It's got to be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you would think. That was the fake example I came up with.
Gary's fake
What was
example.
it? Red.
Wait to hear what it was.
What was it? First Blood.
It was the live action
amazing.
version of The Sorcerer's Apprentice starring Nicolas Cage.
as the titular sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the titular would be the apprentice.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
That wouldn't have been my first
You know,
choice for
the-
the only advertising in the most popular card game ever.
Did you see that movie?
No.
No, I'm a human being.
I've heard
You know,
it's decent.
It was all about him paying back taxes.
Yeah.
In the
I heard
real
that
world or in
story.
the movie?
That would be great if they worked that in.
Well,
Was Wesley Snipes?
that was the narrative too.
All right, Wills.
The sorcerer owed a lot of back.
The
taxes.
sorcerer's accountant. Okay.
Yeah, you like that
You
one?
like that one?
I guess you're funny.
I guess that today I win. Tomorrow's another day. All right, number 3, Wills. Go ahead.
All right, what was the first ever Magic the Gathering expansion pack?
Yeah, good luck.
What was the what?
The first Magic the Gathering expansion pack.
Gold.
No.
Is there a mercy rule on this game?
Arabian Nights. Let's see. I'm going to skip a couple of these.
When I say that I don't like the game because it's too obscure,
Yeah.
you know it's effing obscure.
Right.
'Cause
Okay.
We've had some obscure games.
Okay, I think that we should just go down to that last question.
Go ahead.
Oh, no,
Okay.
number 9, Gary. You do number 9.
Okay, number 9. True or false? The Uktabi orangutan card features monkeys having sex.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
yes.
that's absolutely
ding,
true.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And the
You
last
didn't ask him if he was an expert about monkeys having sex.
Right.
You asked him if he was an expert about Magic Together.
Right.
He knows
so
everything about monkeys
but
having
in the
sex.
Venn diagram of life, they
Yes.
happen to overlap right there.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, and so final question. Magic the Gathering was created in 1993 by a UPenn grad student named Richard Garfield. What was he studying in grad school?
A lasagna.
What?
Because he's
Art
Garfield.
history.
Because he hates Mondays and he's Garfield.
Oh.
Because his name is Garfield.
Oh my
It's
God.
lasagna.
Will's got it immediately.
I know. Will's and I are intelligent.
Car repair.
No, he was...
Almost.
It's not that we expect you to get this, but it's just interesting to talk about. He was, in a boring way, it was combinatorial mathematics, which is a field of mathematics concerned with problems of selection, arrangement, and operation within a finite or discrete system. Its objective is how to count without counting.
It's very Mr. Miyagi.
It is very Mr. Miyagi.
Show me Hand of Fist, Blair. Oh, pretty good. That's pretty good.
All right.
My last day of math class, I stood up and I yelled, "I am never doing math again."
Let me ask a question. What happens if you need to determine the flow of the rate of a river?
Hi there. All right.
5.
5.
All right, okay.
Good guess.
All right, Topher. Well, thanks for filling in. It's always exciting to talk to you. I will message you offline because I am going to be in DC next weekend. You don't have to
call me again.
You don't have to come to the show. We can just be normal people and do something.
No, I want to see your show.
Okay. It's at the Velvet Lounge.
Ooh.
I'm headlining.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's kind of a big deal.
We're
No,
right.
it's not. All right. It's going to be a fun show, though.
Yep.
All right, Topher.
All right.
Get back
See
to
you, little buddy.
researching Medicaid. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Here's something I want you to do before we sign off.
What?
I want you to explain to Lewis. You used a little phrase earlier that I'm not sure Lewis Bishop.
What? Which one?
She said something about the Venn diagram of life.
Oh no, I know what that is.
What's a Venn diagram?
Well, a lot of times
I don't know.
It's more circles than what I would say. So like 2 circles. Let's say me and Will's are each circle. Then in the middle, they meet.
The things you have in common.
Right, and we both enjoy Hawaiian football players.
Right. Okay.
So
that wouldn't be a big intersection.
Yeah, right. Chris Pine movies.
Okay, so now the intersection's growing.
We're both devastatingly handsome.
Now it's growing again.
Yeah.
Now they're practically overlapping.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, guys.
I think they might be the same person.
Have you ever noticed that when Bishop is in the room, I'm also in the
you
room?
Ever seen? Right.
Find us on myfantasywife.com. Everyone, have a great time and listen to the jazz trumpet stylings of Mr. Al Hurt.